If you're applying a CST to every single clip in a 200 clip timeline, you're working way too hard. On the flip side, if you're someone trying to set your project settings for C-Log 3, but you also got a GoPro and drone footage, your colors are gonna look like a complete disaster. Today, I'm breaking down the why and how for both. We're gonna start with the project way for speed, and then we're gonna move into the node way for total control over mixed media timelines. Now, let's jump into Davinci Resolve and I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. First, we're gonna start with the project way. This is your go-to move when 100% of your media comes from the same source. Instead of adding a node to every single clip, we're gonna let Davinci Resolve do the heavy lifting globally. And how we're gonna do that is we're gonna go into File, and we're gonna go into Project Settings. And we're gonna move over to Color Management. You're gonna have your color signs change over to Color Manage, and we're gonna manually do everything. We're gonna change our color processing mode to custom as well. So our input color space is gonna be whatever camera you use. In my case, it is the Canon R5. So we're gonna go ahead and use Canon Cinema Gamut C-Log 3, and we're gonna change our timeline color space to Davinci Wide Gamut Intermediate, because that's where we're gonna get the most out of our colors. We're gonna change our working luminance to custom as well, and we're gonna change it all the way up to 10,000 nits. Yours is going to originally be 1,000. Move it all the way to 10, trust me. And then we're gonna change our output color space over to Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. Depending on what your monitor is, mine's work best with Gamma 2.4, and we're gonna actually put this on the internet, so having it this way is actually optimal as well. And then we're gonna change our input DRT to none and our output DRT to luminance mapping. Now, when we do this, we're gonna go ahead and click Save, and we're gonna look at our Canon footage, which looks pristine. The beauty of this, well, you just graded your entire project in 5 seconds. If you have 50 clips of the same interview, they're all actually now normalized. But what happens when you suddenly drop a DJI drone footage into your timeline? The project way breaks. That's where the no tree way comes into play. As you can see, this is a DJI drone footage and it's still completely grayed out after we did everything we needed to do in the project settings. Let's look on how to handle mixed media when it comes down to color space transform. What we're actually gonna do is actually go back into our project settings. And we're gonna go ahead and change this back to just Davinci YRGB. The only thing we're gonna really change here is our color space on our timeline and our output. We're gonna change that back over to Davinci Wide Gamut because just as mentioned before, we're gonna get the most out of our colors doing that. And we're gonna change our output color space back over to Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. And you're gonna see that it also impacted our Canon R5 footage too. It's back to being grayed out. Now, let's go ahead and do this the no tree way. We're gonna go back to our DJI footage and we're gonna create 2 nodes, pressing Option S because we have a Mac and we're cool people. We're gonna go ahead and type in color so we can get to color space transform quickly, and we're gonna drag it onto both of these nodes. Now we're gonna go ahead and name both of them. We're gonna start with our input. So as we're on the input, we're gonna use whatever camera we used in that moment. And I know I shot this in DJI D-Log, D-Gamut, and D-Log. You're gonna realize we're gonna do a lot of things similar to what we did in the project settings. So we're gonna change our output color space to Davinci Wide Gamut and Davinci Intermediate. And that's all we're gonna do in the input. And you're gonna be like, well, Keith, nothing really changed here. Simply because we need to move over to our output and do our output transform. And in order to do that, we're gonna transform our Davinci Wide Gamut into something you could see in a Rec 709 level. So we're gonna do Davinci Wide Gamut, we're gonna do Davinci Intermediate, and then our output color space is gonna be Rec 709, Gamma 2.4. We're gonna change our tone mapping to luminance mapping, and we're gonna change our custom nits back over to that 10,000 as we mentioned before. Now, we're gonna do the exact same thing we did here onto our Canon log footage. We're gonna go ahead and actually apply this grade onto here. You're gonna see that it's pretty much crushed. That's because we need to change our input to what our camera was, which was Canon Cinema Gamut and Canon C-Log 3. And then you're gonna see it's back to being normalized as well. Now we have two normalized clips. So to recap, you need to use the project way at the timeline level when your media is 100% consistent. It's the fastest way to get to the creative grade. But the moment you see a mixed timeline with Sony, Canon, or DJI, switch over to this no tree way. And to give one final tip, if you find yourself using the same no tree setup over and over again, just save it as a power grade. In order to do that, you press Control and you press Grab Still for each of them, and you rename them, right? So for the Canon one, you're gonna rename that to the Canon, and for the DJI, you're gonna name that to DJI. That way, you get the precision of the no tree method with the speed of the project method, which is going to be the best of both worlds. If this cleared up the confusion for you, hit that like button so I know to make more Davinci Resolve workflow guides. And if you're someone who loves the color grade on an iPad, check out this video right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.